Actually, my wife asked me, she said, do you know that they do a TV show about Walking Wednesday? I said, I do know that.
I've been at it once
I said,
or twice.
in fact, I get interviewed every
time.
Walking Wednesday. I said, I do know
that.
that, and they put together a compilation.
Here in the Baker neighborhood at one of our anchor institutions located right here on Mount Hope. This is the Bethlehem Lutheran Church. This is Pastor Matt Smith, and we're really excited. This is a longstanding partnership that the City of Lansing and the Baker neighborhood has had with Bethlehem, but there's a new partnership emerging with the Lansing Save program, and we just had a very successful launch of some support. Can you tell us about how that came about and then what happened just this past weekend?
Well, I wish I could tell you exactly how it came about. It was more the Holy Spirit and the moment when the program was explained to us, because we can't think of a better way to invest in the kids of this neighborhood than to support their education. And we want to give them as good a chance as we can. And so to know that every dollar in these Lansing Save accounts gets used for post-secondary education, and kids are so much more likely to go to college or go on to post-secondary ed if they have money saved for that. And so we can't think of a better way to give to the future of the kids right here in our neighborhood.
So there's a fifth Sunday that happens 4 times per year, and Bethlehem takes a special offering during that time and dedicates those dollars to the Lansing Save accounts, which is our universal children's savings account program that every student in the Lansing School District now up through 4th grade has. We're 5 years into that program, so the students at the leading edge of that are now in 4th grade. But now every child who gets enrolled in kindergarten in the Lansing schools automatically gets a Lansing Save account. Our partner, MSU Federal Credit Union, seeds those accounts with $5, and then students can, over the course of their K through 12 education, they can do deposits into that account, and they can make those at school or they can make those at the branch. When we were talking about this, we identified that there were 124 kids in K through 4 with Lansing Save accounts right here in the Baker neighborhood, and Bethlehem said, well, let's make our 5th Sunday offering go towards those kids. And in the first, we just launched it this month, and in the first offering, more than $12 per student were raised through the generosity of the church, which was an overwhelming response. We were really surprised at how big that was. And we've talked to, as I've told Pastor Matt, we've talked to a lot of other partners who just love this idea and who say we want to join and match what Bethlehem is doing for their neighborhood. So it's always easier to go second. It's very hard to go first, and we really appreciate all of your hard work and the hard work of everyone here and their care for the students. And you're absolutely right. There's no better investment that we can make than in the investment of education of our students right here in Lansing. So we look forward. Anyone who wants to learn more about that program, we'd love to talk about how you can support the kids right in your neighborhood in Lansing. Thank you. I do want to always thank our partners here at Bethlehem Lutheran Church. They're one of our anchor institutions here in the Baker neighborhood. We'll take a walk through some things. Feel free to hang with us. Feel free to go where you'd like. And hopefully we'll get, I'm counting on 60 minutes with no rain. And if we get to 60 minutes with no rain, then I'll feel like we really accomplished something, and that's what I care about. So this is one of our 2 tool trucks in the city that is located here. Capital Area Housing Partnership is happy to, Brady's here, I believe, is happy to talk to you about the tool truck. This can be booked for any of your neighborhood events by contacting Capital Area Housing Partnership or Lansing Parks and Rec.
Okay, so we are a Capital Area Housing Partnership. We are a nonprofit developer in the city of Lansing. We have lots of different programs. We build new houses, we remodel houses, but what we have over here is the Toolmobile. That's part of the HERO program that's funded by the city. So the Toolmobile is a mobile tool library with over 200 tools that we have that are free to use for any resident of the city of Lansing. So we take a $5 deposit, and then when you turn the tool in, we return the $5. So we have circular saws, we have reciprocating saws, we have rototillers, we've got rakes and shovels if you want to do a neighborhood cleanup. We have all kinds of things. Basically, if you give us a call, ask if we have the tool. We probably have it. If we don't, we could probably get it for you. So any resident that lives in the city of Lansing can use this service. We also use these tools on our Tuesday Toolmen projects. Tuesday Toolmen helps people over the age of 62 or people that are severely disabled in the city. We build ramps for accessibility to the front lawn, and we also do accessibility improvements inside, like grab bars or lowering light switches, things like that. So anything to do with housing, we're your one-stop shop. We do financial education, building houses, fixing a house you already own, foreclosure prevention. Give us a call, we can help you out.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Great to see you. Thanks so much for being here, guys.
Warmer last year.
It was warmer last year.
Hi,
However,
See you too. How
it's
you
more
doing?
exciting this year.
It is. We've
And
got some
that's-
momentum.
All right, great. Well, we are here at the 538 Isbell lot, and this is such a cool project, this lot is. And this was a vacant lot that's been repurposed by the neighborhood with the help of a whole lot of partners. One of those partners is Habitat for Humanity Capital Region. So tell us about what you're doing, not only in this lot, but all of the exciting plans that are happening and all the things that you guys did last year and what's to come.
This year and today we're having a picnic for the community. We have been working with some people in Baker neighborhood. There was actually a group of kids who decided to activate this lot. It was just sitting here. It was kind of collecting cars and trash, and they wanted to do something with it. So they decided to lease the property from the land bank and turn it into a little de facto community park. And as you can see here, there's a lot going on. We're really excited. Last summer, we helped finish the fence here in the neighborhood, and we did some other updates to some parks in the area. We put a new pad in the park at the Cesar Denora Park around the way, and we also added a sidewalk so that the pavilion was wheelchair accessible. Last year and this year, we are doing renovations and neighborhood revitalization activities in the neighborhood. So we're helping people spruce up their house. So we might be putting on a new porch or painting, putting in new windows. We're available to do bigger projects like roofing and siding. And we focus a lot of those projects during Rock the Block. That's a 1-week program. We do it in July and in September, and we're taking applications for it for the next couple of weeks, and we're hoping to get some applications in tonight.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic partnership. There's a whole group of partners that meet every month to talk about ways that we can concentrate our efforts and work hand in hand with residents to do positive things in the neighborhood. We've had a tremendous response from folks really wanting to take ownership. As we've talked about many times, there's a lot of vacant properties in the Baker neighborhood, and that's a result of us demolishing houses that were functionally obsolete, primarily unsafe. And so when we take down those properties, it leaves these vacant lots. So a lot of the efforts are about what do we do with vacant lots to activate them, make them robust public spaces, and you can see certainly that has happened here. But then we also have houses that need rehabilitation. And so having a partner like Habitat who is willing to invest and help folks do those major projects is such a wonderful support to the neighborhood and to the city overall. So is there a particular project you might cite from last year that really excited you or really tells the story of what Habitat does?
I would say, so we worked on one street where we had 3 or 4 houses on that street that we were working on. So you can really see the impact when the projects are clustered together like that. And when you look down the street on those days and you see Habitat volunteers in their bright shirts on all sides of the street working, that's really exciting. And then people start to see us as a resource in the neighborhood. So we were really excited about that. Another thing that we've just recently kicked off is the Rehab Lab, and that's a house on Linval that was donated to us, and we're renovating that house for the neighborhood, but then we're also using that as an opportunity to teach people skills on how to do upkeep on their own homes. So they're learning how to install a new window or patch drywall or put in a new light switch, and that's a really cool thing that we're excited to be able to offer the community with the support of the Capital Region Community Foundation, who's funding that. And then the rest of the projects in the neighborhood also have some really great supporters. Jackson National Life has been a big supporter of us. Forsberg Construction, BWL, Consumers Energy. I mean, we're not doing this alone. We have some great partners, and the City of Lansing has been a wonderful partner all along the way, so we're really excited to keep up the work this year. So if you're interested in having some repairs or some renovations done on your home, you can call us at 517-374-1313, or you can check out our website at habitatcr.org. We're available to come out and take a look at your home and see what you might need done, and we're just really interested in helping people have safe, affordable, and secure housing here in Lansing. So if that's something that you need help with, please give us a call.
I was thinking pizza, but then I was like, I said ice cream, so it's supposed to be warm. So.
Oh, the tunes, but you got it.
I know. You want some ice cream?
Music for it, that's
you
for
sure?
Later.
Oh yeah. And I'll take one for my wife.
Thank you.
You got any friends that want some ice cream too? You want some ice cream, man? Come on over. There you go, bud. All right.
You guys brought the truck, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
I saw you pulling in, and I wasn't sure where you guys went to, so I can't lie. Every time I went to different fire stations, someone offered me some kind of really good food. So.
They're not like us, man.
I can't lie. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm there and we're chatting and we're talking about stuff, and the alarm went off, and the guys just took off. They were gone.
Yeah.
I cleaned up.
That's awesome.
They made this incredible ziti, big ziti. It was really good. I don't want it to go. If they're gonna be gone, I don't want that to go to waste.
Goldfish.
So I cleaned. I didn't want to put it. Cheese. So I did. I found the foil. I put the foil. I put it in the fridge. I put all the dishes in the sink, and I left.
Awesome. What do you say, buddy?
High five.
Right.
So we're here with our friends from Potter Park Zoo. You want to stand right here with the horn? Yeah, stand right there. That's perfect.
Perfect.
Perfect. Be right there.
Hold it with 2 hands. There you go. Good job.
It is a very big horn. Do you like the zoo animals?
Yeah, but it must be a caribou horn.
I like
Is it a caribou horn?
it. Is like a sheep horn. It's called an. Oh, Dad, let's not quote me on that one.
We'll be fact checking you, Mariah.
Yeah, I know.
All right, we're going to give that one back to her. Thanks for stopping by Zoo in the neighborhood, Will.
Yeah, no problem.
So, Mariah's here from Potter Park Zoo. Can you tell us about the Zoo in the Neighborhood program?
Yeah, so we provide free programs to 40 different locations. So we do almost 60 different free programs around the mid-Michigan area. And we also provide free zoo passes. So right behind us at Bethlehem Lutheran Church, there's actually free zoo passes that families can check out and do free admission and free parking into the zoo, 364 days out of the year. Even for Boo at the Zoo, Wonderland of Lights. They can get to the zoo. They don't have to worry about any charge or anything like that. But we hope that families will come out to our actual programming to see cool animals like Oslo, our Eurasian eagle owl, and other things like reptiles, lizards, get to touch them and be one with the animals.
This is Clara Martinez. She is the director of the dance program at Everett High School. Also has a special connection to the Department of Neighborhoods and Citizen Engagement in the city of Lansing. And now that you've moved on from your years of service within the city, you've taken on this great role as the director of the dance department at Everett High School, which is one of our gems here in the city. Tell us about what you're doing at Everett High School and what you're excited about.
A couple of things that I'm really excited about, and the students are as well. We are celebrating our 45th birthday this year. So Everett Dance has been around for 45 years, founded in 1974 by Karen Sprecher. And this October we get to celebrate her and her legacy and so many generations of dancers. So that's something special coming up. We've also been able to participate in an opportunity with the Michigan Dance Council. So last week we were able to take some students to a state rep's office, Ms. Koopa, I believe, and we got to advocate for dance education in the K-12 system. And I had 3 freshmen prepare remarks, so that was very exciting. Similar to civic engagement in dance, you have to meet people culturally where they are at. So we always start with the most interesting dance genre to the students, and then we grow from there. We learn about our bodies and time, space, weight, and energy in all of the different dance genres. So we usually start with hip hop or jazz or something more popular, and then we grow into different disciplines. But in terms of how we are getting more civically engaged, we have entered into the National Dance Education Organization's honor roll system for dance. So now Everett students can earn volunteer hours and credit in addition to a diploma in dance service.
Those are really exciting developments, and I love how you're marrying those together. Talk a little bit before we let you go about the exciting improvements that are going to be coming to your facilities thanks to the support of Lansing voters who passed the bond that is helping us to upgrade our schools here in Lansing.
Sure. So in about a year's time, we will be receiving these amazing additions for about $20 million to the Visual and Performing Arts Department at Everett. I was a part of the team who helped design some of the new spaces, so we are so thankful to Lansing voters to help students reach their artistic goals in this new building that we're going to receive in about a year. So,
why do we care that there's dance education in school? I mean, why do we care? Why do I care?
Well, not only is it a gem and it's very unique, there are less than, I believe, 40 programs in the state of Michigan in K-12 public schools. But arts education, we know from research, helps establish more social emotional intelligence, empathy for others, understanding, and I think it's just really important in this particular era that we are living in to get to know one another in a different way, and dance helps you do that.
I'm Mayor Andy Schor. We're here in the Baker neighborhood, and there's a lot of work going on here. We've got a lot of resources here in the neighborhood. We were just here a few weeks ago, but when you want to improve a neighborhood, it's got to be buy-in from everybody. The city does what they can, but the citizens are doing a lot of work on their own to improve their houses, to improve their neighborhood, to work on these parks and maintain these little pocket areas, which are not official city parks, but they're maintaining them and making sure that they're in good shape so the kids can play there. The neighbors are really taking control of this neighborhood, and I think that's a great thing in addition to the zoo and the art collective and all of the other resources that are being provided here in the city by nonprofits and by the city of Lansing. So, I'm proud to be here for our first Walking Wednesday in the Baker neighborhood. I'm excited for everything that's going on. We've got our fire truck down the street. We've got the zoo here. We've got a bounce house, and we've got some hot dogs and some information for the neighbors. We've got a great turnout, people walking everywhere, and we're really excited to be here on our first Walking Wednesday of the year.
All
right, we're going to go into the Eckert Power Plant for Walking Wednesday, talking about Lansing's energy future.
We've got other operating stations. We've got the Riotown plant everybody's familiar with. We've got our Erickson station. Eckert is by far the oldest station in the Border Water and Light fleet. It actually started in 1922. You'll look over on the side, there is a cornerstone. This plant was started basically in 1922, and it was started to be rebuilt just after World War II. They've got units in here that are as old as I am, the first unit. The units have been laid up, and we are phasing out of this plant and phasing out of coal at this plant because of the Riotown plant. We are now in the plant. We were in the turbine area, now we are in the boiler area. We come on down here, we're going to ride an elevator up. We're going to just ride up a couple of floors. Now that everybody's in here, we got a captive audience. We're going to go up to the operating floor. The next place we're going to go to is the control room. The Eckert station had 6 operating units. Like I said, they were started back in the very early 50s into about 1968. The unit sizes were from about 44 megawatts to about 82, 83 megawatts. Yeah, what we do here is we burn coal, okay? We burn coal, we got to pulverize it. We pulverize it down to talcum powder. So you know what talcum powder is. Actually, it's blown into the boiler here, and it is more or less a controlled explosion, is what it really looks like. The fire, you have a fireball down here, and you have radiant energy that you're transferring energy to the water walls where there's water in it. The water goes back up to a drum, converts to steam, gets heated, and comes out and drives the turbines. So we'll head down this way. This is the new control panel setup that we put in here back in 1985. We actually send steam out of this facility for downtown heating, which was supplemented by the Morris Park station, which is right next door. So originally this was called the Morris Park station. It was renamed after Otto E. Eckert, which was one of our general managers. Homer Simpson? Well, when you look at it, yeah, this is an upgrade, believe me, from what it was. This is a great upgrade. Now we're getting into what it used to look like. We're going to go in to the turbine room, right where you can see the steam turbine generators, where the electricity is generated. What's a steam turbine? A steam turbine is nothing but a set of fan blades that are in, I don't know if anybody really has got a question about that, but what we're doing is we're taking high pressure steam at 1,200 pounds, 950 degrees Fahrenheit. We're using that as a motive force to turn a generator to generate electricity. Okay? The smaller units down here, about 42 megawatts, I believe, and these are the bigger of the 3 down here. These are the turbine generators. This is where all the money's made, folks. This is where we generate our electricity. The generators are actually cooled by gaseous hydrogen. The smaller units, like we have over at the Riotown plant, we use a water-cooled system over there, an air water-cooled system, which is perfectly adequate. The turbines are used to be operated from a control system out here. We actually had 2 operators. We had a boiler room operator, we had a turbine operator, we had pump operators, we had people on the burner deck, which we're going to go to next. So it just isn't one person that operates the power plant. You have several, and then you've got to have all of the support staff. You have to have the electricians, you have to have the instrument control repair people, you have to have the people that are doing your piping, valves, all the maintenance, the mechanics that work on these. Here's one of the boilers. Here's another boiler. They're about 10.5 stories tall. And like I said, water goes into the boiler, goes into a drum, comes down the wall, comes down some pipes, goes down onto the bottom, gets heated up. Water is hot, goes back up into the drum. There's steam, forms in the drum. We take it and we heat it. The more we heat it, the more we can dry it. And like I said, we heat it up to about 950 degrees here, which if there were a leak, you can't see it. So you got to be kind of have your wits about you when you're walking around the plant.
How thick is the wall on these boilers?
Well, the boiler tubes themselves are probably about 3/16 of an inch thick. The pressure inside is, let's see, we're putting it out about 12, about 1,500 pounds. But there are like 60 tubes across, so there's water going up, and the tubes are 2-inch, and they're tangential tubes, so they're tubes, and then there's a little membrane that's welded between the two tubes, and there's membranes, and that's what holds everything in. The skin that's on the outside is just insulation, and it's a lining just to keep things clean. Because we do water wash these plants. Okay, back this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow me. We're going to stay between yellow lines, more or less. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll let the other group get through. All right, so you're kind of in the middle between the boiler room and the turbine room, okay? Turbine room is over on that side. Boiler room is over here where we are. These big pumps right here are boiler feed pumps. Those are the thing that takes the water, that pumps it up to about 1,700 pounds, give or take, and that's what goes up to the steam drum, goes up to our drum. This has got to be the number 5. This is unit number 5. This is one of its pulverizers. We can't see what's in the bottom, but actually down in that lower section, right underneath where the door is, there are some grinding balls, and they are about the size, a little bit bigger than a bowling ball. The coal comes down in this blue pipe right here. That's your raw coal feed that goes in. We grind it up, and when it's ready, it takes right off and goes right up to the coal pipes, into the burners.
How do you make sure that all that coal is of the right consistency?
That is all tested. That's all tested at the mine. One of the things that this Powder River Basin coal is, this is what you call kind of a young coal. It's not like an anthracite coal. It's like from Pennsylvania. That's got a lot of sulfur in it. This stuff is fairly young. It's got a lot of moisture in it. It's got 22% moisture. You take some of this coal and you take it out and take a wad of it and put it on your driveway. A couple hours, there won't be anything but ash. It'll start on fire by itself. Oh yeah. The other interesting thing about this plant, I said back in 1922 they actually started building this plant, and I actually had to do some research for a little project we had. We started out, we built in 23, 2 units in 23, 24, a couple of units, 31, no, here's one in 27, 30, and 31. And what we did is when we built these units, we started taking down those old units. And so that's why we call these rebuildings. People get really crisscrossed off. Boiler 1, turbine 2. Boiler 2, turbine 1. Then we started doing things on a unit basis.
So are the smokestacks from the 20s then?
No, the chimneys that we have here, these were built in 1980 and 81, yeah, 82. He grew up here, he's a local.
That was always iconic. I'm home, I see the tower.
Yep, they were built when I was away at college, and I remember seeing them when I would come home on the holidays, and during the summer they were going up.
These are concrete, these are slip form.
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
So they went out and they did a level of about a couple, 3 feet, put in a re-rod, poured the concrete, and they just went up and up and up and up and up. They're 616 feet tall.
16?
616. I looked at the drawing.
620
Each one? Because one of them looks bigger than the other.
No, they're all the same size.
Well, the middle one is actually bigger diameter.
The bigger one's a little bit
because the 3 flues that go up inside have to be bigger because they're taking more. We're taking more exhaust gas.
Now, the flues, the chimney flues, the actual gas where the gas goes out, is hung from the top and grows down. So you have to take up 600 feet of expansion. So
The boilers similarly are supported from the top of the building,
grow
so that
down.
when everything goes from room temperature like now to how many degrees? 1,000?
950 degrees.
All that steel grows down, and there's actually a water bath at the bottom. Anything that falls out of the fireball falls into the water bath, but the fans push and pull enough air through it that everything just goes out. Top of the boiler goes out the building into the stacks.
All right, we're out at Walking Wednesday once again here at the Eckert Station, down in just across the river from the beautiful Moores Park neighborhood and adjacent to Rio Town. So exciting things happening here. Mayor Schor is here, like he is for every Walking Wednesday, and thanks for committing to 9 Wednesdays in a row of your time. Tell us a little bit about this station, what you think it means to the city, and anything else you want to talk about the future. But we can get to that if you want.
This is such an incredible piece of Lansing's history. So, we affectionately call the stacks wink and blink and a nod, and you can see this, on the skyline from almost anywhere. It's the first thing you see when you're coming into the city. The station is coming offline, so we don't really have the pollution that everyone has been concerned about in the past. The board is moving towards natural gas and renewables, but the facility is still here and is going to stay here. So we look at how do we repurpose that towards the future, and we would love to see a repurpose. We want to see in the next 4 or 5 years something really cool coming out of this building. It could be housing, it could be commercial. Who would love to live in the old power station? Who'd love to come and check out commercial activity or light industrial? So we plan to go out and seek a request for proposals nationally for those who repurpose old power plants into something really cool. And in addition, down the street here, you've got some water towers and things. Those are all coming down. So we're going to have a platform on the water where we can have people who are living and just living right on the Grand River, getting to check that out. We have Moores Park right across the street, which is going to be like beachfront property. So this is really exciting, but we wanted people to be able to come in and see it. This is a public utility. This is their power station. Let's bring people in and get a chance to see it. If you interview people as they come out, people are really stunned and excited and just the height and the views of the city and all the mechanical and equipment and things that go on inside this. Now, it's not functional, so we're not putting anybody in danger, but they get to see the real operations of a power plant and this incredible infrastructure here in Lansing. So I keep saying Lansing's time is now. So Lansing's time is now, and here's a chance to see one of our treasures, one of our assets, and hear a little bit about the future and what that might hold for this historic piece of property in our city.
We just went through the rebranding and launched, which is a whole lot of things. It's not just a logo, as no brand is. There's a whole lot of messaging. You should check it out at lansingforward.com, the mayor's vision for the future of Lansing. But a lot of people think that the new logo is the stacks. So is it?
The new logo is whatever people see in it. We have 3 equally sized stacks, and these are different. So it can be the stacks, the skyline. It can be, for me, it's a growth pattern. This is upwards, and I believe in growth, and I've always talked about growth. It can be, I've had someone tell me this looks like tall buildings. So this could be, the Bogie Tower and many of our other tall buildings in the downtown. But to many people it is. This is the iconic look of the one thing you see when you come into our city, which is wink and blink and a nod. So you could say that. It can be really anything. I had one person tell me they thought it was a bar graph. So it can be anything.
All right, we are here with Board of Water and Light General Manager Dick Peffley. Thank you for opening up the doors to the public today.
Oh, we're very excited to show people through our Eckert Power Plant.
What does it mean to be a public-owned utility?
Well, it means that the residents and customers actually have a stake in this utility.
And is that a unique arrangement or is that a common practice? I know we brag about that. Is that something that's different than most communities have?
Well, what's different, there's 40 public utilities in Michigan. The Board of Water and Light is almost larger than all of them combined. So we are a large public utility, and we feel that we are able to give great rates to our residents and customers.
So there's a lot of discussion about the future of BWL. What's coming, and when can we expect to see it happen?
Well, we're really ramping up our renewable portfolio. We're looking at 30% clean energy by 2020 and 40% by 2030. And we will break ground in the near future on a new combined cycle plant that will help bridge the gap between coal and 100% renewable.
And that plant will be located on our west side of town, correct?
Yes, where our Erickson coal plant is right now, that'll be decommissioned in the near future, and a new combined cycle plant out on Canal Road will take its place.
Great. So there's discussion about coal, renewables. You talked about that portfolio. We just made a big announcement within the city of Lansing. What are we trying to do here?
What are we trying to do right here at Eckert Station? Okay, what we're trying to do here is give our customers a last look before we turn this over in the near future for development. This is prime property, a great place for somebody to develop and overlook the river. And this coal plant is at the end of its life. It's time to retire it. It was a workhorse since the early 20s, and now it's time to let it retire in peace.
And when the mayor says we're going to go towards City of Lansing will be purchasing 100% renewables for its operations, what does that mean?
What it means is all city operations, their buildings, their plants will get 100% renewable energy delivered in July 1.
And that's a pretty... I don't think other municipalities are doing that, but I hear that others want to now that we've gone first.
They do. If I had others reach out to me, because we serve other areas, Lansing will be the first in the state to get there.
Fantastic. Thanks again for housing us here tonight, opening up this facility. People, I know that we've had about 150 people through the building already, and we weren't sure how many people would come out, but people are really interested in what happens here, and they want to see what the future of energy holds and what's underneath these iconic stacks here in Lansing. So
we're very pleased to open our doors to have the residents and customers come through this facility.
So I don't know how many of you know about the history of public libraries, but a majority of the public libraries built in the U.S. were actually built by funds from Andrew Carnegie. And so the original public library in the city of Lansing is down the street at 201 West Shiawassee, and that is a Carnegie building. And what you had to do for a Carnegie building is you actually applied for a grant, which they were more than likely to approve, and they give you funds to start a public library. That was one of Andrew Carnegie's mission, is to have a public library in most U.S. cities. So that was the Lansing Public Library up until 1961, when there was a millage that was passed for the building of this location. The cost of it in 1961 was $1.9 million. Construction started in 61, finished around 1964, and they had a groundbreaking on October 18, 1964. He was called the chief librarian. He was the first kind of executive director of the Lansing Public Library. His name was Clarence Payne. We have a video of him sitting in his office smoking at his desk while a child walks in and actually asks him about the library, and he talks to her about the public library while smoking a cigarette. Times have changed. Now you cannot smoke on library property, and I definitely do not smoke in my office. But about the building, the architect was Kenneth C. Black, I believe, and he actually designed City Hall as well. And so the library has a modernist theme to it, and it's called, you probably noticed that it's called the Clarence H. Rosa Library. That was dedicated to Clarence H. Rosa, who was on the Lansing School Board. He was also on the library board of the Lansing Public Library, and he was one of the original founding members of the Friends of the Lansing Library as well. And so not only is his name on the building, his family actually dedicated money to build a Japanese garden within the library. You might not be aware that there is a Japanese garden in the library. It's right to the left of the children's area. We don't open it up that much, but this year we are going to open it back up. And our past head librarian, Michelle Brousseau, she passed away suddenly last Wednesday, and it was her mission to open that space back up. So we want to honor her. We want to definitely make that a priority. So if you're in the downtown Lansing area, you want a nice tranquil place to enjoy your lunch, come down here, visit us, and you can actually go out into the Japanese garden and enjoy your lunch, grab a book, whatever you want to do, but just a kind of a nice quiet place to enjoy some time.
Thank you. And thanks for having us kick off here. Really quickly, though, can you talk about the Library of Things?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
You can't leave out the Library of Things.
So we have kind of what's called a non-traditional collection in the library, and it's called Library of Things. It can be anything from a musical instrument. So you want to learn how to play the acoustic guitar, you want to learn how to play the keyboard. Before you spend all that money on an instrument, and to figure out how good or bad you are at playing the instrument, you can check it out at the library. Another thing that we have are mobile hotspots. We know that connectivity is a real issue in our communities, whether it's affording a commercial provider or whether in some of our rural locations that there is no commercial provider. What we do is we have probably around 86 mobile hotspots that you can check out, you can take home, and you have internet access for up to 2 weeks in your home. And that's all free with your library card. One of the most exciting ones that we just added as well are bus passes for CATA. So you can use your library card, you can check out a CATA bus pass that's good for 30 days. That's a really big partnership, one that we thought was very important, and we're so glad that CATA was able to partner with us to offer it. And just as I look as a bus going by, because one of the things that we see is for CATA, they want people to use the library to travel throughout the community, and we see a number of our users using the CATA system as well, so we thought it was a great partnership. And then summer is right around the corner. If you have any summer parties, you need some lawn games, we have them in our Library of Things. And again, all you need to get that is a library card. You can do that in person at the library. You can also go to our website, cadl.org, and apply for a library card online and begin to use it online.
Thank you so much. And really appreciate all that the library does for our community, so thank you. We are going to go on a history tour with Bill Castanier, and I'll turn it over to him to tell you about what we're going to see and talk through that, so I'll turn it over to Bill.
Okay, we're standing in front of what was formerly Arbaugh's department store. It's now a 48-unit loft apartment with offices on the ground floor. In its heyday, you would see through these windows. They would be the windows where you'd see what was on sale, or at Christmas time, people would come down here in droves in the 40s and 50s, 30s, 40s, and 50s to see their windows decorated for Christmas. Let's cross the street.
Watch yourself. You don't want to be.
Okay, if you look across the street, that is obviously a very typical depot for buses. There were 125 of these, almost exact duplicates built across the United States. This one was built in 1950. It replaced a bus, not really a depot, but a bus stop on Michigan Avenue. This was considered an incredible accomplishment for a city to have a bus depot. In that era, people were regularly traveling across country by bus. And if anyone's ever taken a bus, you'll also probably know, unless you're on an express of some sort, you stop in every little city across the entire state. It's kind of fun if you've got a lot of time.
So this is an Art Moderne style building. It's kind of a transitional period between Art Deco, think 1930s, very geometric WPA era buildings, and the real modern phase that's coming with the 50s. So with modern buildings, think international style, think things like City Hall. So this is kind of the awkward stage in between.
Thank you so much to everyone who came out for Walking Wednesday here in beautiful downtown Lansing. We started off up at Capillary District Library, and then Bill Castanier and other members of the Historic Society took us around and showed us a lot of the great homes here on the south end of downtown, and gave us a lot of history and a lot of wonderful architecture information. And it was a really great night here in Lansing. We love Walking Wednesdays, love getting out and talking to the community, talking to our neighbors, and learning more about our home here in Lansing. Thank you.
kick off the grand finale of our Walking Wednesday series. My name is Erin Buitendorp. I'm with the City of Lansing's Department of Neighborhoods and Citizen Engagement.
It's good to see everybody. As many of you know, my wife and I lived in this neighborhood for 10 years, so we love the area. We need another bedroom, or we need another bathroom in the house, so we moved to the west side. But I spent a lot of time at the park here. One of my best friends lived in that house for several years. And we know he loves Scott Woods. We know there's been some work going on recently. We got to make sure that the pipes actually carry the stuff away from our houses. So we know there was work going on. We know we worked with several of the neighbors in town to make sure that it was the least disruptive that it could be, and our public service folks spent a lot of time here. But we wanted to make sure to walk through. We know McLaren is seeing some changes, and there's just a lot going on in the neighborhood in this area.
Thank you for the invite. Glad to see everybody. Great turnout. As many of you know, McLaren broke ground on a $500 million replacement hospital in a project that'll consolidate our 2 existing campuses on Green Lawn and right here behind us at Pennsylvania campus. Since day one, we've always made the pledge to be good stewards of our hospitals and doing all we can to repurpose the hospitals we're going to leave behind. Now, keeping in mind, we're not vacating the hospitals until 2022, and our new hospital will be ready to open, which is on time right now. And if you go by the site, you'll actually see steel coming out of the ground, which is pretty exciting. But we've had a lot of productive conversations and actually tours with some private and public companies who reached out to us to get a look at the facilities, and that's a positive sign and something that we're looking forward to. To me, this is a perfect hospital campus that can be repurposed. It borders a beautiful park here, Scott Woods, and a lot of assets in a great neighborhood. So a lot of positive movement on that. We're still working closely with LEAP because they have the network for a lot of the businesses that we want to connect to. So a lot of good things coming. Obviously, still it's a marathon because it's 3 years away, but good things are happening.
Welcome everybody to the event. I'm happy to be here. This is my first Walking Wednesday. I've heard a lot of positive things about it, and I hope to get out more in the future.
Okay, thank you. I'm Jim DeLine, and a couple years ago, 2.5 years ago, when I retired, I love my neighborhood so much, and they were talking about having a neighborhood watch. And I said, well, let's do more than that. Let's do some fun things. Let's have garage sales and block parties. And so we formed a neighborhood association, and if you can hear how quiet it is, it's very quiet. We love our neighborhood, but there are 500 homes packed into this neighborhood from Mount Hope down here to McLaren, and then from Pennsylvania over to the cemetery, although we don't count the people there.
I will give you an update on as much as I can on our wonderful project we're going to be doing later to protect Sycamore Creek for years to come so we don't have sewer flowing into it. It's out to bid right now, probably starting in July or early August, and as soon as we actually have a schedule for that, we'll get that to the neighborhood. And we will also be putting kind of a neighborhood kiosk down here. That's going to be their job, kind of their posters and everything they have to have. They'll use that during the project, and after that, River Trail and neighborhood will be able to use that to post information on.
I was really excited to see. I've been a resident of this neighborhood for 40 years almost, and we love our neighborhood, and I'm glad that you're taking an active role in trying to get somebody that will actually speak for the neighborhoods.
My pleasure. Thank you for saying that.
Good. Anybody else?
Anybody? All right. Everything's great in the city of Lansing. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to run and get my daughter some food, but thank you, everybody, for coming today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. All right. Jim is going to be your fearless leader. He's got a map.
I have a map. I do.
Okay. Let's get going. Okay. So, hey Jim, did you know that Scott Woods is one of 9 parks that begins with an S?
This house is one of the interesting ones here. This house was built in the 1890s, and actually it was not built here. This house was built up north of Mount Hope Avenue, and someone smarty in their 20s came along and said, we want to put a school here. And that was, at the time, it was the Schubel farm. This was not the Schubel farmhouse. That's been pointed out to me. They lived in a much nicer house than this. But they didn't want to have the house destroyed for the school. So, as you can see, there's a hill here. They built a basement, and in the 1920s, brought this house down all the way from Mount Hope Avenue and plopped it down on the basement. And I'm sure all through the neighborhood, there are plenty of houses that have great stories. I happen to know this one. I live here. This house is interesting because this house gets more code compliance complaints than any house in the entire neighborhood. They are trying to fix it up, but they're doing so slowly, the complaints compound. On the other hand, one of the things we love about our neighborhood is, hey, if this is the worst, we're doing pretty good. This is the neighborhood's little free library, and everyone is encouraged to take a book, leave a book. And we're just a couple blocks from the Mount Hope STEM, and so we have parents and kids down here all the time that take a book and leave a book. It's been here a couple years, and it's been through a couple versions with repainting, and looks like the roof even needed to be redone. And whose roof doesn't need to be redone every once in a while? So everyone is encouraged to take advantage of this and take a book and leave a book. The Mayor's Neighborhood Advisory Board has a grant program, and we've been given a grant for $330, and what we're going to do with that money is all of these crosswalks that don't have a line, we're going to paint each crosswalk coming off of Mount Hope with blue paint, and the neighbors of Scottwoods, we have a tree logo, and every crosswalk coming into our neighborhood will be blue with our tree logo. And as you can see, we've got some sweeping to do and some prep work to do, and we will work with Andy Kilpatrick to make sure that we don't close the road completely and buy the right kind of paint. And that will be done before September, or else we violate the grants.
Okay, so this is Smith Floral, and we're on approximately 4.2 acres of land. It was founded in 1903 in downtown Lansing. They moved the greenhouses here in 1912 because they flooded every spring downtown. Not a good thing if you're trying to raise Easter lilies and spring plants. So they bought this property, and at the time that they set up the first greenhouses, the only things in the area were the two cemeteries. And obviously we did a lot of business with the cemeteries, therefore location here made sense. So the flower shop was downtown until the 1940s, and then in the late 40s, early 50s, they built the flower shop up front and moved it here. And it's been here ever since. The company was founded by my husband's grandfather and great uncle.
My name is Tom Arthur. I'm the pastor at Sycamore Creek Church. We're at the corner of Mount Hope in Pennsylvania. We bought this building about 5 years ago, and we've been remodeling it. We're stained glass on the outside and party on the inside. Looks like a traditional church on the outside, but when you look on the inside, you'll see we've created it as an asset to the community. We've had 4 community theater groups use the building in the last year. We'd love to explore that further. We're getting ready to remodel the outside, turn the grass and the area around the building into a park that's an asset for the community to come and hang out in.
We had a wonderful walk tonight, and I would encourage everybody, be on the lookout next year for Walking Wednesdays, because they really give you more insight into some of the really nice neighborhoods around the town, and maybe some of the neighborhoods that aren't so nice and need some improvement. So to get a better feel of Lansing, and I'm one of those love Lansing people, I definitely encourage people to do Walking Wednesdays.